It's Killershrewfan's 12 Days of Reviews. Hello everyone and welcome to Killershrewfan's 12 Days of Reviews. 12 review videos in 12 days, all leading up to Christmas, taking a look at dinosaur models from all years, manufacturers, and species. And today we are starting off on a high note with this, the new for 2019 PNSO Ankylosaurus named Swede. Now this lovely model is part of a plethora of dinosaur models that PNSO has released for the year of 2019. They have been cranking out species after species, and honestly, for collectors, it might actually be a little daunting to think about where to start. And that's why this year I wanted to take a look at a couple PNSO models, but we're going to go ahead and start with this one, mostly because this one, for me, was certainly one that stood out. It was one that I didn't think a lot of when I first saw the promo images. I didn't see it as anything too standoutish, too incredible, but then when I started seeing photos of the actual in-hand model, of the actual dinosaur, and seeing it in reviews and all of that stuff, I realized this just might be the best Ankylosaurus model on the market. So how does it hold up? Well, we're going to find that out right here and right now on Killershrewfan's Killer Toy Reviews. Before we go any further, I do want to note, I know I put a little disclaimer at the beginning of the video, but this is not a toy. This is a scientifically accurate collector's model for adults. It is a bit pricey and therefore not meant for kids. And just as this model is definitely not meant for kids, it's more intended for adults, so is this and all of my future videos. I will be sure to disclaim that in all of them, but that had to be said right now. So taking a look at the box here, you've kind of already seen the basic layout. You've got the drawing here, two images of the actual model itself. On the other sides, the bottom part has all of the sort of copyright information, the warnings, that sort of thing. And then, of course, you've got a little bit of information on the sides as well. So pretty standard stuff. Let's go ahead and unbox it for you. I'm going to bump my camera. I'm going to try really hard not to. And there is the dinosaur itself. And as with many of PNSO's offerings, you've also got a little fold-out booklet that gives you a little bit of information on the species with a little cute backstory in several different languages. And there you can see Sede, the Ankylosaurus, living with caution, not fear. Then, of course, you got a drawing, an image of the model itself, and all that. And those little backstories, they're so, like, heartfelt and profound and sweet, and they really make you think. It's kind of weird seeing such an in-depth thing for a dinosaur model, but it's still cool nonetheless. So there is our dinosaur, safely packaged in a plastic bubble. Take that off, and he falls over. Sorry, little buddy. There is Sede, the Ankylosaurus by PNSO, and I cannot wait to give you guys a closer look. So without further ado, let's do this. So taking a closer look at the head of this Ankylosaurus, as you can see, PNSO have absolutely jam-packed this thing with details. You've got scales of varying shapes and sizes covering the entire surface area where the bony growths are not prevalent, and then you've got lovely wrinkles and folds of skin down around the lips there, and as you can see, the eye is done in a nice black color with some gloss applied to give it a nice, wet, living look. I'm not a huge fan of the black eyes on dinosaurs, but given the size of this thing's head, I think I can forgive it, and plus all the other sculptural details on this head feel so incredibly gorgeous. It really is a beautiful face. Taking a look at it from the front, as you can see, you have got all of those lovely bony scale and covering on the forehead there. They are all lovingly sculpted and addressed. They are all different sizes, different shapes, It's just a gorgeous amount of sculptural work on this Ankylosaurus. And as you can see, just looking at it head on, you can get an idea of just how chunky this guy is. He is quite the chonker of an Ankylosaurus, and I love looking at him head on because he's got such a sassy, fat look to him. He looks very endearing from this particular angle, I will say. Taking a look at the other side of the head, it's kind of hard given his sort of posing there, but I'll see if I can't give you a closer look there. So yeah, as you can see, come on, there he is. There he is. All of the scaling detail here as well is quite good. There's just so much detail. The beak also has some lovely weathering going on for it to give it a nice lived-in feeling, and all of the bony protrusions on the head of the Ankylosaurus have also been given this sort of texturing to make it feel like a nice keratin sheath of a growth. Going down the length of the body, as you can see, the scaling details and all of the armor, all of that is just so gorgeous on this model. The armor does have this lovely textured feeling. The scales are so well handled, but I'm also a big fan of the way the wrinkles and folds of skin buckle and move with the creature. And as you can see, the sculptural details continue all the way down to the length of that clubbed tail, which has a nice sandy texture to it as well. Going back up the opposite side, yes, the detailing on this thing is just staggeringly gorgeous. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of all the scale and armor details, but the wrinkles, the folds of skin, the way it's all moving with the animal feels so gorgeous. And if we take a look at it from a dorsal viewpoint, you can get an idea of the sort of bell shape of this Ankylosaurus. That is just so well done. They nailed the dorsal view of this animal so well, and I really just dig being able to look at this thing and see all of the details from above it. It looks fantastic. Taking a look at the underbelly, as you can see, there is a disparity in style of scaling going on down here. Here you've got more rectangular uniform scale patterns, which is quite nice. We have unfortunately got a couple of seams down here, but since it is on the underbelly, it does feel like I can forgive it. Something else worthy of note is the fact that they have addressed the undersides of the feet with dusts and wrinkles. All of it has been lovingly addressed here. And here's a better look at the arms and legs and just the beefiness, the stockiness, as well as those gorgeous wrinkles and folds of skin that are buckling up as the creature moves and shifts its weight from one side to another. I am such a big fan of everything sculpturally about this dinosaur. Even the pose is fantastic. The way it's sort of taking that tentative step forward with its right foot while cocking its head up to look at something. It's got this sort of inquisitive, cautious, but also sort of like a sassy, like, oh, you're gonna be coming at me like that? Oh, you better be careful, because the tail is up and at the ready as well, and it kind of ties into that whole note that they had in the beginning, like the living with caution, not with fear, that they captured that sort of attitude in this sculpture and pose so well. The paint scheme is also just absolutely gorgeous on this model. I'm the big fan of this sort of custard underbelly coloring that transitions up into the more earth tones of the dorsal region, and the way that they just kind of sprinkled in little pops of color here and there with the scale to break it up. Usually I'm not a huge fan of this sort of unorganized patterning on some of these models, but this one in particular, the way they applied it with layers, it's just so gorgeous that I can't find myself faulting it. Like, just look, like down the back there where you see those orange spots, how they're very random, and there's no real rhyme or reason to it, but it's a lovely area of breakup. Like, the orange in the brown there is so gorgeous. And then they also kind of dusted this model to really make it look like it lives in a dusty, arid environment, like it's been out walking in the dirt or giving itself a dirt bath. And that just adds to the lived-in feel and also makes all the details just pop. It just all comes to life when you look at it. It just, this thing, oh, I cannot sing praises for it enough. The sculptural details are fantastic. They saddled it with such a gorgeous paint scheme. It's just so well done. Like, just, part of me just wants to let the video play and let you guys look at it because, wow. And really, it's different in person. Like, this is even better in person. Just everything about this is so fantastic. This is, without a doubt, my favorite Ankylosaurus model, and we'll get into why later on, but it is just so incredibly gorgeous on every facet. So, how big is this Ankylosaurus? It was bigger than I anticipated, coming in at about 9 inches, which is about 23 centimeters long from tip of tail to tip of snout there. And if we get a measurement from the base all the way to the highest point, which is, I think, gonna be the top of that horn there in this case, you're looking at right around just under 6 centimeters, which is just past 2 1/4 inches off the ground. So it is bigger than I anticipated. It's not massive, but it is sizable enough to have a presence on your shelf and stand out amongst your dinosaurs. For size comparison, we're going to go ahead and bring in some other Ankylosaurus models, but first I want to go ahead and bring in the recently reviewed, also new for 2019, PNSO Spinops figure. Duke, I believe, is his name, and as you can see, these two are roughly the same in terms of their overall, build. Like, they're roughly the same in terms of their, heft and weight and length and everything. The Ankylosaurus is much longer and Duke is a bit taller, but they're very similar. But just the disparity in sculptural details here, I wanted to highlight that point as well. The paint scheme is also miles better on this Ankylosaurus. Alright, next for size comparison, I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Carnegie Ankylosaurus. This is a lovely retro model that was very well handled, but even it crumbles in the face of this PNSO Ankylosaurus. Just the detail is staggeringly better on the PNSO offering, as well as the paint scheme, but they are pretty similar in terms of their size, as you can see. Next up, we've got the recent Safari Limited Ankylosaurus, and as you can see, again, PNSO blows the competition out of the water in terms of sculptural detail and paint. Next up, we're going to go ahead and bring in the Papo Ankylosaurus, and I'm a big fan of Papo, but this particular offering from the company is weak in terms of comparison to the PNSO Ankylosaurus. The PNSO Ankylosaurus is much bigger, much more visually interesting. The sculptural details are far and away superior to even that of Papo, which, if that gives you any indication on just how good this Ankylosaurus is, I don't know what else will. And finally, for Ankylosaurus size comparisons, we're going to go ahead and bring in the War Pig Rebor Ankylosaurus, and yeah, there is also no competition here. Of course, the Rebor one is bigger, but in terms of sculptural details and paint application, Sede the Ankylosaurus takes it. And here you can see all of them together, and yeah, I mean, it's not that hard to pick the standout of this group in terms of sculptural details, paint applications, scientific accuracy. PNSO takes it by a landslide. Well, there you have it, everyone. That is going to do it for our look at the PNSO Ankylosaurus. And if I haven't said it enough, this model is simply gorgeous and a must-have if you are a fan of the species. It's easily the best PNSO model that I have received in the year of 2019, and I have absolutely no hesitation when I award it 9 points out of 10. It is truly an amazing addition, and I think it's going to be an amazing addition to your collection as well. As always, I want to know what you guys think of this model. Do you own it yet? Are you planning to pick it up? What was your favorite release from PNSO for their 2019 lineup? Leave all of your thoughts down in the comments section below. And as always, thank you so much for tuning into the first day of Killershrewfan's 12 Days of Reviews. Be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. It really means a lot. And don't forget to subscribe on the way out. We got 11 more dinosaur-related reviews coming your way leading up to Christmas. And we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.